Well, good question. Peter Mensch, our manager, and Cliff Bernstein, his partner, we hate thinking of album titles. All we want to do when we're in the studio is get the songs done. It's like, what are you going to call the album? It's like, I don't care what we're going to call the album. Who cares? Let's just call it Mickey Mouse. Anything. It doesn't matter. It's like, it's always the last thing. It's the big panic. We'll have the record finished and the sleeve's not done because we can't think of a title and it's holding up the release of the record. So we ran a competition in the fan club for kids to come up with an album title, and we were getting some classic names, but none of them were good. You know, the best one we had actually was Trouble at Mill, and this, for those that don't know, is a very kind of Python-esque Yorkshire phrase, and we couldn't think of anything. And Peter and Cliff, our management, were suggesting things that were summaries of what had happened to the band over the last 4 years, which basically were very negative. And we didn't want that. We wanted an album title that summed up the 10 songs and the mood of the record, which was much more important than we've been miserable for 4 years and our guitarist died sort of title. And Adrenalize came up. Well, basically, the word adrenaline sparked it off. We figured that these 10 songs were really up, more so than the last album. It's a lot less mid-tempo and a lot more energetic than the last record. The energy that we had on tracks like Armageddon It, Gods of War, and say Pour Some Sugar on Me was the essence of what we wanted to kind of capture on this record, and with that kind of power behind it, not necessarily fast but powerful. And you know, we figured that it was a good adrenaline rush, and that just kind of drifted around for a few weeks, and then when I think Phil suggested that we call the album Adrenaline, and you know, it just got bastardized to Adrenalize, and the word, as far as I'm aware, actually doesn't exist, which I thought was quite cool. And the fact that it's a word that doesn't exist is a very again, it's like, you know, you're making your own rules, you're inventing your own words. And the other thing I like about it as well, and that we like about it as a band, is that Adrenalize actually is the present tense. It's not the past or the future tense, it's the present tense, which means that the music, the title doesn't date. It's not adrenalized and it's not adrenalizing or whatever. It's just Adrenalize, which is sort of present tense and hopefully will still sound that way in 10 years' time, which is something that we've always tried to have a handle on. It's like we make records and we say, yeah, this sounds good now, but we want it to sound as good in the year 2010 as it does in the year 1992. And I think Hysteria still sounds like it only came out last week, production-wise. Which is why we've always gone for kind of over-the-top sounds, because it just, if it's ahead of its time, sort of, or as near as you can get to kind of producing that, it means sooner or later it'll catch up with itself, but maybe it's in 10, 15 years, you know.